Razaban here for FightHype.com with me. On a very sunny day in Liverpool with me, Dave Coldwell. How are we, Dave?
Very good, because sun's out.
Yeah.
I'm always happy when the sun's out, yeah.
It doesn't really come out often here, does it? This part of the world.
Not really.
No. We're here today on Friday for the weigh-in for Amir Khan and Phil Lo Greco. I'm not sure if you saw much of the press conference yesterday.
I saw a bit of it, yeah. I did, yeah.
Both men didn't really say anything.
Very calm, very cool. I was a bit surprised at Lo Greco because he came out with all the smack talk in the first press conference, which was weeks ago, probably designed to get under his skin. But then it comes to fight week and he's all well behaved and polite. And I thought, if you want to get under somebody's skin, do it just before the fight, try and disrupt the mind, not weeks away where we can, calm it and get it out of the system. So I was surprised that it was quite a friendly presser, unless he's going to try something today. I don't know.
But do you feel like, obviously being an ex-fighter and a coach yourself, but do you feel like 2 days before, well, a day before the weigh-in, sometimes you don't have the energy?
If you're struggling not to make a weight, maybe, but most of the drama usually occurs fight week because you're edgy, you're ready to go, you just want to get in there and fight, you don't like each other, or you want to get in somebody's head. That's usually when it happens. Tables get thrown and things like that. Usually.
Now you're talking about heavyweights.
Yeah, but
we don't have to make weight.
What I mean is stuff happens on fight week. I don't know, it depends on what your mood is. He might have just realised just how big a task this is, and might have just thought the whole event, because it's sell-out, it got put out yesterday, it's a 9,000 sell-out, the amount of people that were in the room for the press conference, it might have just got to him and just thought, whoa, this is bigger than what I thought it was going to be.
I spoke to your good friend David Hay a number of weeks ago. I spoke to Kell Brook before his fight against Rodchenko, and they both said going into their fights, obviously Brooks had his fight, David hasn't yet, that if we lose our next up-and-coming fight, I'm calling it a day. Is Amir Khan in the same scenario if you lose to Phil Lo Greco?
It's very difficult to say where he's going to go after that fight, because if he was to lose to someone like Lo Greco, who's a good fighter, but not an elite level fighter, not a top name that you expect with, well, put it this way, an Errol Spence on the way through as a prospect stopped him quick time. So if you are going to go and get beat by Lo Greco, then really there's nowhere else for you to go, really. So, but that's down to him whether he decides to call it a day or not. So yeah, he's in that position where, realistically, as far as a name and as far as a potential big fights, world title fights concerned, if he gets beat by Lo Greco, there's nowhere really to go.
Dave, you've got a number of fighters yourself. I think once upon a time I heard you say that Tony was your last fighter, but since then you keep on expanding. You keep on expanding. Even I might have hope. But when you get a fighter, it obviously takes time for them to understand and get used to your methodologies. Amir Khan he's not working with Virgil Hunter. Obviously he's not well. He's now teamed up with Joe Goosen, a very different type of trainer. As you know, Virgil's more of a defensive type. So, is that changed? Difficult for someone like Amir to adapt to? Or? Maybe
somebody of Joe Goosen's experience will understand and will know. So maybe he hasn't tried to implement everything that he wants him to do and his style of training fighters for this fight. He'll have probably just been there to give him advice, tweak little things, perhaps just stop him from making mistakes, what he sees and spots the mistakes, rather than trying to teach him new things. Maybe just, I don't know how long they've been together, but maybe that's what he'll have done. Just make sure, keep correcting on mistakes, so he doesn't get into bad habits of making bad mistakes when a trainer's not about or whatever. And just making sure he's fit and ready to fight, and then giving him advice, which is invaluable from somebody like Joe Goosen, who's been there, seen it, bought t-shirt and everything else that goes with it. It's important advice that he'll be giving him. So I would imagine that the next camp, that's where you start, right, this is moving forward, this is what I want to do, blah blah blah. If it's like sometimes a fighter will just take over. A coach might just take over to look after a fighter on fight week because the other coach, the main coach, might be away with somebody else in a bigger fight. So you don't try and implement things. You just try and stop them from making mistakes if you see mistakes.